They moved it again.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Can we open it? No?
Supervisor Vecchio,
Here.
Councilman McCarthy,
Here.
Councilman Wareheim,
Here.
Councilman Creighton,
Here.
Councilman Malloy.
Yeah.
Want this one, right?
Sitting as a Board of Water Commissioners. Go ahead.
Acting as a Board of Water Commissioners, transfer of $30,196.35, and to authorize the increase in revenue for the same amount and expenditure code in St. James.
Councilman Malloy,
Yes.
Councilman Creighton,
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
And you also have the approval minutes on the Board of Water.
Approval of the minutes of Tuesday, December 11, 2012.
Councilman Malloy,
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim,
Yes.
Councilman Creighton,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes, we reconvened. Public hearings, town board to consider the town's entry into certain real property located at 30 Helen Avenue, owned by James Chitty and Jessica Ott, for the purpose of remediating and removing the structure thereat, which has been designated as unsafe in accordance with the unsafe building standard as set forth in Chapter 112-25A of the Code of the Town.
Good afternoon, Mr. Supervisor, members of the Town Board, Town Clerk. My name is Martin Simon. I'm an Assistant Town Attorney for the Town of Smithtown. The purpose of today's public hearing number 1 is for the Town Board to consider the town's entry upon the property at 30 Helen Avenue, Smithtown, New York, for purposes of removing and/or remediating the structure at that property that's been deemed unsafe pursuant to 112-25A of the Town Code by the Building Director. This concludes my presentation on this.
Anybody wish to be heard on this? Yes, ma'am? Is your name Doreen Palladino? Please, come up to the board meeting. Room there.
Good afternoon. My name is Doreen Palladino, and I own the home located behind the property on 30 Helen Avenue. I hope you don't mind that I've written down my statement as to not leave anything unsaid. This home burned down on October 31st, 2008. My husband woke up in the middle of the night to see flames coming out of the roof, so he ran outside, jumped the fence to make sure no one was at home. The tenant was at home and already exited the house, but the homeowners were not. I subsequently called the fire department, woke up my son and my sister, and we went to a neighbor's house in case the fire spread. 4 years later, we continued to encounter problems with this burned structure. There is a decrepit pool in the backyard, so the mosquitoes are a major health issue in the summer. I've contacted various departments here at the town, and it has been suggested to me to add bleach or other chemicals to the pool to control the bugs. I spent time and money doing so, and this is obviously not my responsibility. The raccoon infestation on the property, another major health issue, has been the purpose of my various phone calls to the town, one directly to you, Supervisor Vecchio, who assisted by contacting animal control on my behalf. This past July, an animal control officer came to my home and explained that if they trap and get rid of the raccoons, they will only come back. Well, that may be true, but it's not a nice thing to share your backyard with creatures. They peer out of the eaves on the structure at early dusk and sometimes before, sit there staring at us. They don't seem to be at all intimidated by humans, which leads me to believe they may be diseased. I did not entertain this past summer in my yard due to this being a safety issue I would not want to impose on my guests. This past summer was by far worse than others. My garbage needs to be kept in my garage at all times, and my trampoline net has been destroyed by the animals. While I understand we live in the suburbs, 1 or 2 animal sightings per night are expected, but when there are 10 or 12 playing in the trees on your fence line, that's just not acceptable. Bottom line, I cannot fully enjoy the use of my property for which I pay taxes on. Loss of enjoyment of my property is not acceptable to me. The site is horrendous to look at. Have you seen the rear of the property or just the front? Because the front looks glorious compared to the rear. This is the rear of the property. I pull into my driveway every day and look at this. I'm currently in the process of adding a 550 square foot extension to my home, looking to add living space and increase the value. 30 Helen Avenue does just the opposite. It reduces the value of my property and the neighborhood at large. A friend and former neighbor spent many, many months trying to sell his home and ended up taking much less of the asking price for it. Potential buyers would arrive for the viewing, see the house next door, and not even get out of their car. This directly affects all of our home values. I know this process takes time, but it's been going on far too long. I've contacted various offices regarding this property, and I just get forwarded around and around. When I contacted Suffolk County directly, they told me I was welcome to come to their offices in Riverhead and sift through the file of the property for contact information so that I could contact the bank or the owners. I work full-time in New Jersey, and I'm a part-time student, so really, I do not have the time for this. At this time, it is in your hands to give this neighborhood back its residents, to give back to its residents a more desirable and acceptable manner. It took us 7 years in this neighborhood to settle the ExxonMobil gas spill. Please do not let it take that long to tear down this abandoned property. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Ma'am, you know the public hearing is for us to tear it down.
Yes, but I've been told for many, many months that that was going to happen.
Well, there's a tremendous legal problem in deciding to come to conclusion to do it. There's many factors involved, okay? So the good thing is it will be torn down. Thank you. And anybody else on this matter? I'll move to close the hearing.
Second.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Malloy?
Yes.
Yes, next public hearing is to consider town's entry into certain real property located at 7 Hadley Drive, Smithtown, owned by Richard and Maria Calero for the purpose of remediating and/or removing the structure thereat, which have been designated as unsafe in accordance with the unsafe building standards of the code. Mr. Town Attorney?
Mr. Supervisor, members of the town board, I'd like to just go back to public hearing number 1
Sure.
quickly. That property, 30 Helen Avenue, that's been referenced to the board, I believe, in various memos, and I will be filing the building department's official report with the notice of remediation and/or removal with the town clerk forthwith. I just wanted to clear that up.
Thank you.
Public hearing number 2 is the town board to consider, again, entering upon the premises at 7 Hadley Drive, which premises has been declared unsafe pursuant to Chapter 11225A of the Town Code by the building director. And again, this property also has been the subject of, I believe, numerous memos and a formal notice to repair and/or remove by the building department official. And I will again file that with the town clerk forthwith.
Anyone wish to be heard on that? I'll move to close the hearing.
Second.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Malloy?
Yes.
Okay, the next public hearing is to consider town's entry into certain real property located at 77 Main Street, and also property also known as 75 Fort Salonga Road and 81 Main Street. Said property also known as 75 Fort Salonga Road, Kings Park, both properties being owned by Frederick Powell and will enter for the purpose of remediating and/or removing the structures thereat.
Mr. Supervisor, before we proceed with that hearing, I just wanted to make you aware that Mr. Jeffrey Brown is going to be here on behalf of the Hightower Homes. Apparently took title to the referee deed, so Mr. Simon will make the presentation, and I believe Mr. Brown would like to address the board. And then the board will close the public hearing, and we'll direct Mr. Brown where he should proceed after this.
Okay, Mr. Supervisor, members of the town board, public hearing number 3, again, is for the town board to consider the town's entry upon what is commonly known as 77 Main Street, Kings Park, New York, and 81 Main Street, Kings Park, New York, pursuant to an unsafe determination made by the building department director under Chapter 11225A of the Town Code. And this is for the town to enter upon the property and remove and/or remediate the, I believe, 2 structures that are there.
Thank you. Anyone wish to be heard? Mr. Brown?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'm trying to make this really quick.
Need your name and your address, please.
My name is Jeffrey K. Brown. I am located at 118, I reside at 118 Margaret Boulevard, Merrick, New York, 11566. Thank you for giving me the time to speak. My family has a long relationship with Mr. Powell. To make a long story really short, Attorney Powell, through, at best, gross negligence or gross recklessness, caused my family to lose $450,000. That led to many proceedings, which eventually led to Mr. Powell being, now in jail for 4 years. On one of the piece of properties, we had an interest in on these Hightower properties. I did not get title to this property until mid-December, a couple of weeks ago. So I'm really in the dark here. The purpose of me standing here is to really try to get some information, to be cooperative, to really be active in helping to avoid the town getting involved, to avoid the expense from the town, but to really know what's going on so I could get my own contractors in there to hopefully fix the building and minimize any loss my family has incurred at the hands of Mr. Powell.
Well, I would suggest, and Mr. Town Attorney, you could correct me, I think you need to go to the building department, find out what you need to do to make the building safe, livable, and clean, and then the town attorney will deal with it from there.
Just, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board, we just became aware that Mr. Brown has an ownership interest in the property. My suggestion would be, as this board knows, we have a public hearing. The next town board resolution will prepare, next town board will prepare a resolution to officially declare these structures unsafe. Between now and the next town board meeting, Mr. Brown will have an opportunity to find out through the building department, Mr. Bongino was here, what needs to be done to take care of these things immediately. So he has a 2-week hiatus to move forward with that. Also, as Mr. Simon indicated, we have a report, the town board previously been provided with reports for these properties. We will be filing a formal report with the town clerk's office that has been prepared by the building department. And we've satisfied all notice requirements for each of these 3 public hearings. But I think we'll have Mr. Brown meet with Mr. Bongino. Hopefully, he can address the concerns at the Hightower properties immediately.
Anybody else on this matter? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, members of the Town Board. My name is Charles Gardner. I'm representing the Kings Park Chamber of Commerce, and I'm speaking in relation to the Hightower property. And not sounding unsympathetic to Mr. Brown, but it is our opinion, the Chamber of Commerce, that the remediation involved in this is simply to tear it down. If Mr. Brown wants to do that, that's fine. If he took over a couple of weeks ago and he's in the dark, I really would question about how much in the dark he could be. This certainly hasn't been a matter that has been hidden by anybody. It's been well known, well talked about in the media, and certainly within all the organizations in Kings Park as well as town government. We know that the prior owners had violations in other jurisdictions. We know that they have a complete disregard for the law and for authority. They were in violation of the permitting process, the application process, the CO process, any other kind of process. They just thumbed their nose at government and did what they wanted to do. We know that those foundations have been compromised. We don't feel that remediation would be building upon 2 locations that have foundations compromised. It's an entryway to Kings Park, as we all know. First impressions are being what they are. As people drive in, the first thing they see on the left is those 2 dilapidated structures. Not that they're any more or less harmful than any other areas in town, but the immediate neighbors, as well as everybody coming into Kings Park, can see what a total mess that's been. It's been long enough. They should be torn down. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on this? Oh, Mr. Lehman?
Good afternoon, Mr. Supervisor, members of the Town Board. My name is Sean Lehman. I reside at 27 Columbine Lane in Kings Park. I'm president of the Kings Park Civic Association. On February 5th, 2012, the Civic Association sent a letter to Supervisor Vecchio, a member of the Town Board, members of the Town Board, and I'll read it quickly. The Kings Park Civic Association has received a number of complaints about the structures at 77 and 81 West Main Street, Kings Park, that were constructed by the Hightower Homes Incorporated. As you are aware, these partially constructed homes do not have a certificate of occupancy, do not meet current building codes, and have been sitting vacant for a number of years. Residents' concerns include reduced property values and unsightly views from their properties. We have also received complaints that teenagers have been jumping the security fence to enter and congregate in the homes. Rodents have also been seen in and around the site. All of these issues have a negative impact on the quality of life of those residents living in this area. The Kings Park Civic Association has been in communication with the Smithtown Building Department regarding these structures for the past 2 years. We are aware that at least one of the properties in question, 77 West Main Street, was purchased by Frederick Powell in 2008. Mr. Powell continues to let the property sit in its current hazardous condition. The KPCA has also spoken with the town attorney's office, and we were informed that the town is in litigation regarding these two properties. We were also told that Mr. Powell cannot be located and has a warrant out for his arrest in Nassau County. In light of the numerous complaints from residents, the fact of the blighted structures are dangerous, incomplete, do not meet town building codes, and are a public nuisance, the Kings Park Civic Association is requesting the town of Smithtown condemn these structures and raise them to the ground. We thank you for your attention to this matter and look forward to your response. In light of the new information I just discovered this morning, am I correct in learning that Mr. Brown just approached the town board yesterday?
He approached our office yesterday.
Yesterday, he approached the attorney's office. I've been in touch with Supervisor Vecchio, Councilman Wareheim, Creighton, many of the councilmen, and the attorney over the past year or so regarding these properties, and we appreciate your efforts bringing it to this point here. While I sympathize with Mr. Brown, we feel the same way. These structures really need to come down. However, I think it is reasonable to delay this hearing or to push this forward to next month on whether they should be raised or not. Let the building department go in with the current property, the new property owner, and see if these structures can be remediated. If they cannot, then we think they should be raised to the ground. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll move to close the hearing.
Second.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilman Wareham?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Malloy?
Yes.
Mr. Simon, for the benefit of others who are here for the first two hearings, what is the next step in the process?
The next step in the process is to, technically this was the hearing portion.
Yes.
For us to present and for the public to comment. From here, you will now determine as a board whether or not you want to go forward with a demolition and or remediation, and then a resolution will be prepared
Okay.
for that matter.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on. This is the first reading for the Greater Long Island Run Club, a 15K run, and there's a building department report on file for those who wish to peruse it in the town clerk's office. Town board to authorize the clerk to advertise for public hearing to be held at the senior center on January 24th regarding 273 of the code of the town entitled Tents.
Councilman Malloy?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Wareham?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes. Town board to authorize the clerk to advertise for public hearing to be held on the 5th of 2013, February 5th, 2013, at 2 p.m. in the town hall to consider the town's entry onto certain real property located at 21 Heather Drive, Kings Park, for the purpose of removing all existing junk vehicles, assorted yard waste, etc.
Councilman Malloy?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Wareham?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes. Town board to approve the minutes of the town board minutes of December 11, 2012.
Councilman Malloy?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Wareham?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes. Town board to authorize the following appointments. To reappoint Stephen L. Saracen, Esquire, to the Board of Ethics for a term of office from January 8th, 13 through December 31st, 2015. Town board to appoint Paul L. D'Amato, Esquire, as a member of the Planning Board to fill the unexpired term of Mrs. Yellen, effective January 14, 2013. Set term to expire on December 31st, 2015. The town board to reappoint Elizabeth Eggleton and Salvatore Loikiano to the Tenant Selection Committee for a term of office from January 1, 2013 through December 31st, 2015. And D, Town Board to appoint Mr. Joseph Segazy to the Board of Ethics, term of office January 9th, 2013 to December 31st, 2013.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes, Town Board to authorize the clerk to advertise for the following bids to be returned at the Town Hall on the dates indicated. Office cleaning services, January 31st, 2013. Road mark material, January 24th, 2013.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
I have number 4, the town board to approve the following as per A through J. Extension of Mine Safety Appliances Company. B, extension of agreement with Suffolk County Archaeology Association. C, rescission of resolution 2012-1180. D, extension of agreement with Long Island Family Medical. E, Louis Necroto Workshop. F, rental of wheel loader. G, pursuant to public hearing held by Town Board on December 11, 2012, the Town Board's entry to certain real properties. H, sole source repair, Samsung SL 150 loader. I, Town Board to authorize school-age childcare staff. And J, extension of agreement with L.K. McLean Associates.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
I have number 5, the town board, after due study and deliberation of subject record, to issue a secret negative declaration determination of non-significance in the following matter. 5A, application for site plan approval by Decanio Management Corp. for 2170 Jericho Turnpike, 1213, dated December 12, 2012.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Item number 6, the town board to approve the following matters. 6A, the town board to grant approval of zoning petition 2012-5 by SMSA Limited Verizon for a modification to special exception as per 6A, the printed agenda.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Item number 7, the town board to authorize the controller to execute the following as per 7A through J, transfers and increase in revenue codes as per the printed agenda.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Item number 8, the town board to authorize supervisors to execute the following on a form approved by the town attorney as per 8A through I, budget allocation, Smithtown Township's Arts Council, budget allocation agreement, Smithtown Performing Arts Council, budget allocation agreement with Smithtown Historical Society, agreement on behalf of Hop Hog Ambulance, specialized agreement on behalf of Comac Ambulance, contract between County of Suffolk and the Town of Smithtown, contract between the County of Suffolk and the Town of Smithtown Nutrition Program, and I, term extension with agreement with the Incorporated Village of Nessaquag for Town Fire Marshals.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Item number 9, the town board to approve settlement in the following per recommendations of the town attorney as per 9, 8, and B. A, $3,559.43, and B, $150.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Item number 10, the town board to authorize the acceptance of the following as per A, escrow in the amount of $3,000 as per 10A, the printed agenda.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Item number 11, the town board to authorize the release of the following per 11A and B performance bond, A and B bank check.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Under personnel, the town board to approve the following personnel matters as per 12A through N. Promotion of Regina Berg, change in status of Christine Biancanello. C, part-time appointment. D, permanent full-time appointment, Thomas Lohman. E, change of salary. F, part-time appointment. G, change of salary, Bay Constable. H, part-time appointments. I, part-time appointment. J, change of status. K, part-time appointment. L, accept volunteer services. M, reassignment. And N, part-time appointment.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Wareham.
Abstain on C, yes on all the rest.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Town Board as sitting as the Board of Site Plan Review to consider
Item number 1 is the Site Plan Review Board agenda. The Town Board sitting is the Board of Site Plan Review to consider Amber Court as per the printed agenda.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Wareham.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes, not on the town board agenda, the town board to authorize the clerk for public hearing to be held on the town hall for a zoning petition by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center to amend conditions and remove some restrictions for zoning petition 1998-8 and zoning petition 2000-13.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Wareham.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes. Town board to appoint Edward A. Benz as a member of the Board of Zoning Appeals. Term of office January 1, 2013 through December 31st, 2017.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Wareham.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes, town board to award the following bids and to authorize the purchase of associated goods and services. A bid for sale of recycled plastics and metals to WM Recycle America and Friends of Universal Scrap Metals.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Wareham.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes. Kate, to be heard, Mrs. Nedwick?
Good afternoon. My name is Corlin Nedwick. I reside at 19 Heather Drive, Kings Park. I'm here just to express our gratitude for the communication that has taken place since I spoke at the last meeting. Patrick Vecchio has called me. We've communicated with the Public Safety Department, and we are very satisfied. My neighbors are here today, and we would like to express our appreciation for the efforts in rectifying the situation at 21 Heather Drive. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Tom Papaccio?
Yes.
Did I say it right?
Yes. Tom Papaccio, 19 Ron Court in Comac. I came to discuss a situation I have ongoing where the property on Ron Court runs parallel to Vets Highway in Comac. And behind the properties, the residential properties here, we have professional buildings ranging from the addresses 340 through 358 Vets Highway. In the rear of these buildings, they have their dumpsters, their commercial carting, behind their property. And what they have is they have Garofalo Carting Company. Their timing on going behind the residential properties to empty these dumpsters ranges from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Very rarely is it past 5 a.m. I've read the town code concerning noise, and it's clearly in violation of the town code. When I've contacted code enforcement, Jeff Horton, on several occasions in the past 5 years about this problem, he told me that he would contact the carting company and discuss it with them. In my last conversations with them, I was told that carting companies are exempt from the ordinance concerning noise. I mean, I don't need a noise level meter to feel when something is so loud and powerful that it's shaking my house. Okay, I've tried to rectify the situation. I've spoken and left messages for the property owners. They do not get back to me in regards to this problem.
Okay, may I interrupt you?
Sure.
The Public Safety Director, he monitors meetings, so he's listening to what you're saying.
Okay.
I think the violation is one that they're picking up too early. That in itself is a violation.
Right.
As far as the noise that they make in lifting the container, that's another matter.
Right.
But he's heard it, and he will address it, I can assure you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll move to close the meeting.
Second.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Councilman Wareham.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.